Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to change the way the world eats. My name is Shurina. I'm a certified nutritionist, health, nutrition, brain productivity coach, and just someone with a lot of passion to help you guys to use nutrition and other tips and tricks and hacks to look, feel, and do your absolute best. Guys, yesterday on someone's Instagram, I read this phrase: psychology is incompletely understood biology. And what it means is we often think that some problems that we have with our psychology, or a problem that someone else has with their psychology, with their mental state or anxiety, or not being optimistic and upbeat, or when we have those states that we inevitably all have, a little bit of anxiety or a little bit more depressed or negative than usual. It only becomes a problem, when we don't know how to deal with that, of course, and when it becomes our default state. But anyhow, when we think about these states, we think that they happen in this black box that our head is, and we don't have control over them. But actually, what more scientists and researchers talk more about these days, and there is more and more research coming out just because we have better ways to do the research, better testing abilities, DNA testing, gut testing, different brain scans. We have so many more tools to analyze what's happening inside our body and how our biology connects to our mental state. So more and more researchers are talking about how our mental states, our moods, are results of nothing more than a total sum of different reactions that happen in our body at any given time. So basically, your brain is this interpretation machine. It communicates to you with feelings of maybe insecurity or fear or anxiety, or feelings of happiness and satisfaction and joy. So the brain takes in all the information that your body produces from all the different cells and organs and tissues, everything that happens in your blood at any given moment. So in your blood, in your gut, everywhere. And your brain gets all of this information from all of these systems and organs. And then it translates it to you into thought and emotional patterns. And if the total sum of what's happening in your body is more or less the same every day, then the result that your brain will give you in the form of feelings, emotions, and thoughts is going to be more or less the same, right? And if you want to change what the brain gives to you, those emotions, those mental states, you need to change something that you do with your body, in your body. Maybe the way you exercise, you sleep, the way you eat, and it will change how you feel. You don't need often medications to treat your depressive mood or anxiety. In fact, it's been shown by a lot of research that lifestyle factors work much better than medications. Medications is just a poor attempt to imitate some of those effects, some of those profound effects that things like regular exercise or sleep or regular sunshine or regular positive social contact, of course nutrition, all of these effects have a profound effect on our mental state, and medication is just a poor attempt to imitate some of the similar effects, right? So medication is not better. It does not work better. In fact, it works worse, plus all the negative side effects. So our moods, our states, it's the results of how our biology works at any given moment. Today, guys, on a practical side, we are talking about motivation. And we often think that motivation is either, you have it or not. It's a resource. Maybe sometimes it's a muscle that you gotta train. We don't think often about the underlying biology of motivational state, even though there is more than enough data about how dopamine level in any person's brain is directly related to the amount of motivation anyone feels. Or if someone feels apathetic and lethargic and not like doing much, it means that the level of dopamine in their brain is probably quite low, and it's either less dopamine produced, or receptors that dopamine works on don't really work, or there are not that many, or somebody been abusing their dopamine receptors, and dopamine biology with some drugs or behaviors that are similar to drugs, and that's why all the receptors died out, and now you don't feel like you have any dopamine, even though there might be a lot produced, right? So dopamine is directly correlated with the level of motivation, how efficient your brain at producing and making use of that dopamine that is made. And you can actually, with your behavior, influence the levels of dopamine in your brain. And by doing so, you can change your motivation level for whatever it is you need to do. I'm gonna give you my example. So there are cold calls, cold emails that I need to do today. I'm not super pumped about that. I love coaching people, but doing cold calls and emails, not so much, to be honest. And I do have to motivate myself. And how do I do that? I remind myself that the more, the better of those cold outreach I do, the better I get at it, the more clients I'm going to get, and the more joy of coaching I'm going to experience. And I'm going to have a chance to grow my company and to help a lot more people with what I'm passionate about. I'm going to create all these opportunities to speak and to write and again to communicate what I'm passionate about, right? And as I'm thinking more and more about that end goal, I'm more and more motivated and upbeat and optimistic about doing those calls. And what's happening here in our brain actually, you see, dopamine is the molecule of not joy or pleasure. No, dopamine is a nature's pill, so to speak, nature's way to make us go get things. Dopamine is a molecule of anticipation of reward. It is released, in fact, when we anticipate things. That's why, for example, drug addicts often say that they don't really enjoy the drug that much. Is that thrill of getting it, right? Because dopamine, again, it's experiencing it as kind of pleasurable, but it's not what it's made to produce in our body. Dopamine is released in anticipation of reward. It's a molecule of craving. It's a molecule of more. So thinking about what reward can come out of that, visualizing that reward, connecting to that reward emotionally, will give you all the motivation you need in the present to do whatever it is you need to do. So every time you are not feeling motivated, like today, Thursday, you're probably already tired. You've been working for 3 days and you're like, when is the weekend? Sometimes we do get exhausted, no matter how passionate we are about what we do, about our work and our life. So if you're not feeling that motivated, and if there is a thing that you know you need to do well for this vision, this mission that you're passionate about, be that business, family, like whatever that might be, personal or professional. So you know you're very passionate about that goal, and you know that you need to do this work, maybe again cold emails, maybe writing the article, maybe talking to this person or this business or this partner, whatever that is. You don't want to do it, but you need to do it well in order to move your business forward. And you know that, but you're not motivated. So it means that you need to connect these actions to the end result, to the goal, to the vision better. So think about more and more how that, what you need to do, what you need to get done is connected to your bigger goal, your bigger vision, your true whys, meaning, aspirations, something that makes you feel emotional. Like how is it connected? And get creative. figure out that connection. There is always a connection. If you're someone who's trying to get super fit and you truly want to have a fitter body, then figure out those things that need to get done consistently. And then every time you feel like you're not motivated to exercise or to create a healthier meal or to make a healthier choice or to say no to that dessert, because if you constantly, say yes to everything, all the sugary stuff that comes your way, you're not going to be getting that much fitter. Although, there is always a scale, what you can allow yourself, what not, and it's different for every person. But the point is, connect those actions that you don't want to do to that purpose, to that vision. More and more, every time. Don't underestimate this, because every time you think about that end goal, that vision, thing that you want to have, you actually you make your brain create more and more dopamine. And I think why I'm so motivated for anything, and I can make myself motivated to do almost anything, really. You tell me this is good for me, I'm going to eat even if it tastes like dirt. And the reason is I'm really good at visualizing the end result. I'm like, okay, this is the reason why it's so important for me. And then I visualize that goal. I visualize that. And I create more and more and more dopamine. And by the way, guys, that dopamine, it's not just going to serve the action that you want to do, for example, cold emails. It's going to flow into all the other activities. You're just going to be more motivated to do anything, right? It just, put it to good use, not to, playing video games. That's a danger. You're going to start wanting to do everything. That's actually been a problem. I was trying to do everything, but I realized that there is, time limitation, energy limitation. So I need to put that energy, that motivation that I created by visualizing stuff into the right stuff. So, to cut the long story short, every time you visualize a reward that is truly meaningful to you, don't visualize something that you don't care about. That's not, you can't fool your brain. If you don't care about, getting six-pack, it's not going to motivate you. Your brain, no, you don't care about that. It's not like you can fool yourself, right? So choose the goal that is actually meaningful to you, that creates emotional state. Understand why it's important to you. And then visualize that, and you're going to create more and more dopamine and connect that, end goal to what you're trying to avoid to do. And you're going to be able to do that. So this is neuroscience-based motivation, because motivation in your brain depends on dopamine. Dopamine is a molecule of reward, of craving. Dopamine is created to make you do hard things to get the reward. That's the purpose of dopamine. So we get out there and get resources. That's why nature created it. And they say humans are unique, maybe because we have much more dopamine than any other animals. So basically, a monkey is not all that motivated to get after resources and develop some skills. Whereas humans, we tend to have quite a lot of that dopamine. I think even plants have dopamine also. So the purpose of that molecule is to activate action mechanism to get after reward in the future, right? And if you want to increase your motivation, legitimately increase it. It's not fake. You actually going to increase the level of motivation by increasing the level of dopamine when you connect yourself, your actions to that future reward. Make it real, make it emotionally charged, make it very visual and acute, and you're going to increase your motivation. The better you're going to get at visualizing that meaningful future reward, the more dopamine your brain will produce. And then the only task that you will have to do is to connect that hard action to that future reward and to use that motivational energy for something constructive instead of just spilling it all over the place, right? So motivate yourself, guys. Tomorrow, you're going to learn why a lot of leaders, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of founders, they're the people who are kind of motivated naturally. They know how to do that, but they struggle with motivating their team and people around them that they often need to scale their vision, to build their vision, right? So tomorrow we're going to talk about how to motivate people around you to do the thing that they gotta do, and do it at speed and scale and with emotion and over delivering, right? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because there is a trick that a lot of people miss, and I've been missing it for a while too. But then, I studied and I learned, and I figured that out. And it's actually known among most of the team coaches. So about motivating others, about that, we'll talk tomorrow. Today, self-motivate. Choose a task that you've been avoiding or that's been hard. For me, it's doing calls to accelerators for startups. So choose a task and then connect it to the vision that is meaningful to you, and see how your motivation will increase. Just spend some time, take 5 minutes and just really visualize how that what you need to do is connecting and contributing to that future vision. And let me know how it goes, that motivation experience. And don't forget, guys, you can use it in any area of your life. So if you have been avoiding exercise, let's say, get better at visualizing why it's important to you. Figure out a way to understand why exercise might be important to you. Nobody wants to live with pain and disabilities in the future, right? So maybe negative motivation can be motivation too. Not everyone wants to be an athlete. Like, I love movement, but not everyone is like that. So figure that out, and your motivation will increase for the thing that you need to do. Thank you guys for tuning in. Use this. That's the only way it will be helpful in your life. And, use that motivation tool also to eat healthier today. So guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And till next time, eat better daily. Use that motivation tool that we just learned to eat a little bit better today.